What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. And today we're going to be going over and taking a look at all of the new legendary weapons that just came out with Beyond Light. And we're going to be taking a look at each and every god roll for both PvE and PvP. I'll be giving my opinions about each and every weapon along the way. But before we start, if you do enjoy the video, hit that like button because it helps out the channel a lot. And if you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button. You won't be disappointed, I promise. Now, with that being said, let's get started. Okay, so you might be wondering, why should I even get these weapons in the first place? The reason why you want these weapons or the full set of weapons is so that you can complete the European Collector's Badge. So if you're going for the Splinter title, you might want to listen up. If not, you still would want these weapons because some of these weapons are actually pretty god tier. But then you might be asking, how do I even get these weapons? Well, you collect these weapons through the Empire Hunts. And the Empire Hunts you get from Varix after you complete the campaign. So basically what an Empire Hunt is, are these three bosses basically from the story missions that you complete. And right now there are only 3 Empire Hunts for 3 weapons, that being the machine gun, the fusion rifle, and the bow. But then there's also the auto rifle, the sidearm, the pulse rifle, and the shotgun, which you can basically just farm for them on the second page because there's actually bounties for those specific weapons. And they'll basically just have you complete monotonous tasks like 50 auto rifle defeats and the boss kill with an auto rifle. For an example, I guess the Arctic Haze auto rifle has that bounty, and those are the requirements to complete it. So basically once you complete that, then you'll have the weapon after you go visit Varix again. Now keep in mind, if you want to do an Empire Hunt specifically for the machine gun, if you want to go that route, then all you have to do is just get Here Always pieces and then you can buy them. But by this time, anybody who's watching this should already have enough Here Always pieces to actually collect all 3 of the available Empire Hunt bounties, thus getting you those 3 weapons. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, now we can actually move on to our first weapon on the list, which is actually one of the Europa weapons that you get during the campaign, and it's the pulse rifle, the Hailing Confusion. Now, my roll actually isn't too bad. I mean, I got Demolitionist on the pulse rifle, and then Pulse Monitor, which isn't that bad, but I definitely could do better. So the first god roll that I have for PvE is going to be Hammerforge Rifling in the first column, Armor Piercing Rounds in the second column or High Caliber Rounds, Pulse Monitor in the third column, and Wellspring in the fourth column. Now, one thing you'll notice about each and every weapon on this list is that the perk pool is kind of limited. I mean, it's not very good, but it's kind of mid-tier almost. I'd say it's like high C to low B tier, I guess. And that's just my personal opinion on each and every perk pool that comes with each and every weapon on this list. But for this weapon specifically, I chose one of the newer perks, which was Wellspring, because that actually gives you ability energy upon kills. So let's say like you're on a strike or something, right? You're just slaying out with this pulse rifle. You're getting your grenade energy back, your barricade energy back if you're a Titan, or your class energy, I guess, back within seconds, you know? So this Wellspring perk is actually pretty versatile, and you should have it on a lot of other weapons, not just any of these weapons that I'm talking about right now. But now for the PvP side of things. So the god roll I have for PvP is going to be Small Bore in the first column, Ricochet Rounds in the second column, Outlaw in the third column for that extra reload speed, and Unrelenting in the fourth column, which actually gives you health regen for rapidly defeating opponents, with Guardians counting as more. And if I'm honest, guys, I'm already falling in love with this gun. Like, honestly, I think it's gonna be the next Bygones, and to be honest, it's probably already taken its spot. Like, let's be honest, there's a couple of good pulse rifles out there, including Cold Denial, but with this one being a newer one and not being capped at such a low light level, then I think this one is going to be sticking around for a very long time. I'll definitely be using it come trials because, I mean, 31 to 36 a crit at a 390 RPM is amazing, honestly. It really does give me those Bygones feels. The next weapon on our list is going to be the Biting Wind Legendary Bow. Now, this bow, if I were to put it on a tier list, I'd say it'd be like C tier, at least high C tier. And that's because the perks that are available on this weapon in the third and fourth columns aren't that great, but in PvE, let me just tell you, some god rolls are Polymer String in the first column, Straight Fletchling in the second column, then Killing Wind in the third column, and Sympathetic Arsenal in the fourth column. Now, Sympathetic Arsenal and Killing Wind, they both go together pretty well, I think, because Sympathetic Arsenal gives you a reload to any stowed weapon upon a kill, and Killing Wind is also a pretty good perk as well. But the PvP role is going to be Polymer String, Helical Fletchling, No Distractions, and Snapshot or Rangefinder. Now look, I don't advocate for the use of bows in PvP at all because, I mean, listen, if you use a bow of any sort, especially Lemonarch, just I don't even know what to do with you anymore. Honestly, like, just stop. But if you do decide to use this disgrace of an option, then Snapshot is definitely going to help you ADS quicker, and then Rangefinder obviously will give you more range, which on a bow, I feel like that's one of the more important stats, other than like charge time, which the first 2 column perks that I listed will help you out with that. So yeah, on to the next weapon. Third on our list is going to be the Bone Chiller Slug Shotgun, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, during the hype on launch day, I didn't actually think it was a slug shotgun. Like, I'd have been shooting this gun all throughout the campaign basically as a regular shotgun until I actually took a better look at it and found out that it was a slug shotgun. And that's why it was so easy to get precision hits after I ADS. So then I was just like, oh, I had a big dummy moment. But anyways, this gun actually comes with some pretty good perks. I'd say some of the best perks of all these weapons on this list. So in PvE, we have in column 1, Hammerforge Rifling for the plus 10 range. Follow that by Appended Mag. You should then go for the Dual Loader perk, which loads 2 rounds into the gun, which reduces your reload speed by 50%. And honestly, the reload speed shouldn't really matter on a perk that has a literal reload speed trait, and it's almost instant too. On top of that, it reloads 2 extra bullets onto your gun, so I mean, cut your losses, I guess. But then in the 4th column, you should have One for All, which One for All possibly might be my favorite perk on this list, because I mean, who doesn't like a good My Hero Academia reference every now and then, right? Anyways, what One for All actually does is when you get 3 kills with the perk, it'll actually grant you a damage boost, or you could actually switch out the 4th perk with Demolitionist, and you could actually have some really crazy builds with Demolitionist on the gun. Like, you can get your grenade back pretty much instantly if you have the right exotics. And also, this gun is a really good substitution for Duality, damage wise at least. So now we're going to take a look at the new legendary machine gun, Thermal Erosion. Now this thing shoots very fast because it belongs to the 900 RPM family. I'll be the first to admit, I wasn't too sure how machine guns were going to fare come Beyond Light, because I don't remember hearing anything about them during the TWABs. But while I was using the machine gun, I noticed that it definitely puts out a lot of damage for a random machine gun, you know? So there's a PvE god rule that I want to go over, and that being in the 1st column, Hammerforge Rifling, and in the 2nd column, Light Mag, and the 3rd to 4th column should be Underdog and Wellspring, so you can get ability energy while using the weapon. Now, I have Dragonfly on my roll, and I feel like Dragonfly on a rapid hit weapon is going to be super good in PvE, but I don't think you should use this gun in PvP simply because it doesn't have that much stability. When you think of PvP machine guns, you usually think like Hammerhead, you know, and that thing was very stable and actually very easy to control. But for Thermal Erosion, comparing it to Hammerhead just isn't fair, but I imagine the recoil will be a lot easier to control on PC than on console. It's actually so bad, in fact, that putting a counterbalance stock mod on it won't help at all. So let's move on to the next weapon. Okay, so next up on our list is probably one of my favorites on the list, and that is going to be the new legendary auto rifle called Arctic Haze. Now, this belongs to the 720 rounds per minute family, and you know, from the first day I saw this gun, I already knew that I was going to love it, and then when I found out it was going to be a 720 round per minute auto rifle, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, yo, come on, I need to get this, you know? But sadly, it didn't come out until like today, I think, when the Cloud Strike exotic quest went live. But yeah, I was actually planning on taking it into the raid with me, but I mean, hey, I can use it now finally. But yeah guys, like, this thing slaps, to be honest with you. Clearing ads, especially with this gun, I just found it so much more enjoyable because it was kind of like the gun was doing more damage and I didn't even have a good roll on it. I had Eye of the Storm, and you could see in the background gameplay, like, I'm kind of melting through ads. The downside is that it's an energy weapon, which was kind of a bummer for me because I thought it was a primary, but I guess it does help for those times when you run into a solar shield every now and then. Another thing to note about this weapon is the stability. Much like the machine gun, there's not much of it there, so you'll need to put on a counterbalance stock. Luckily, that mod actually works for this gun, unlike the last weapon on our list, so you shouldn't have that much trouble there. Now, with that being said, the PvE god roll that I have is in the 1st column, polygonal rifling, then in the 2nd column you want flared magwell or accurized rounds. In column 3 you would want killing wind, and in the 4th column you would want unrelenting. Since this is a rapid fire frame, you'll be spraying enemies wherever you can, so why not get some health back at the same time? It's a very smart option for this gun. Now, if you're planning on trying this thing out in Crucible, I kind of wouldn't recommend it. I'd rather go with the 340 pulse like No Time to Explain, but a good PvP role would be Fluted Barrel for the first column to increase your stability and handling, Flared Magwell or Accurized Rounds, Outlaw in the third column, and Eye of the Storm in the fourth column, which I'm going to tell you guys right now. I didn't think it was going to be that good in PvE, but in PvP, I'm not too sure how it tests in this sandbox, and I'm not too sure how it tests on an auto rifle. It's really just personal preference at this point because I've only seen it active on Austringer, but getting the accurized rounds once you're critical could lead to some good plays, I guess. So our second to last victim on our list will be the new fusion rifle called the Coriolis Effect. Now, fusions in and of themselves are still pretty good, I guess, and they've been in a nerf state for quite a while, but boys, I feel like I'm back in the Aerentil days, pre-nerf Aerentil days to be exact, when I'm using this weapon, and the thing is kind of bugged right now to do more damage than it's actually supposed to, and I'll admit that it's not the best in PvP because hitting bolts and charging the shot without having someone hear you around the corner is pretty hard to do, but in PvE, you won't really have to worry about that because knights and minotaurs, goblins, those things won't really care and they'll just keep shooting at you. So now for the PvE perks that you would want Corkscrew Rifling in the first column, Enhanced Battery or Iodized Battery in the second column, Feeding Frenzy or Killing Wind in the third column, and Slideways in the fourth column, or Thresh, which actually gives you super energy upon kills. Which honestly, Thresh is pretty good on any gun that you have. It's one of the better perks introduced in Beyond Light. So for the PvP role, you want Small Bore, Projection Fuse for the increase in range, Moving Target, and Eye of the Storm or Rangefinder, which, my personal opinion, go for Rangefinder because you want as much range as you can get with this weapon, or any fusion rifle to begin with. Alright, so you guys know how I said before in the last weapon that was the second to last one? Well, this is the second to last one because we still got the rocket launcher to cover, so dummy moment again, I guess. So this weapon, the High Albedo, is the new legendary sidearm that just came out. And now this weapon in particular, it's kind of like a burst frame almost because it shoots in a 3-round burst, being an adaptive frame and all. But to be honest, I don't have much to say about this weapon. It's pretty good overall, but I just wouldn't use it in PvP though. Like, I mean, burst in PvP to me just don't fit. I'd rather have something like an anonymous autumn where I have to actually tap the trigger to get the kill and not just hold something down until the burst is done, but that's just me, I guess. So the first role that you want for PvE is Corkscrew Rifling to improve the range, Pended Mag, Ambitious Assassin or Threat Detector, and High Impact Reserves or Wellspring. And now for PvP, there's some pretty good roles here. We have Hammerforge Rifling in the first column, Accurized Rounds in the second column, Full Auto Trigger System in the third column, which would be very nice on a 3-burst sidearm, and Head Seeker. Now those honestly were the best perks that I could pull together for PvP, and I feel like with Head Seeker and Accurized Rounds, and then with Hammerforge Rifling with the extra range and everything, you'll be fine. It's a 3-burst after all, and they're okay. I mean, for me, like I said before, they're not very good, but it's personal preference really. So now finally, the last weapon on our list will be the Rocket Launcher Sub-Zero Salvo, which is a precision frame that has a small auto tracker on its missiles. Now, rocket launchers aren't really in a good spot right now. I don't think they have been since, I mean, God knows when. But some good PvE roles are Linear Compensator for extra blast radius, Alloy Casing for an increase in reload speed, Underdog for more reload speed, and Thresh because, I mean, listen, Thresh on anything is pretty OP. And especially on a rocket launcher too, because getting a group of enemies together and then just getting super energy from that, it makes it absolutely insane. Now the god role for PvP would be Confined Launch in the first column, Black Powder in the second column, Moving Target in the third column, and Thresh in the fourth column, because once again, Thresh on anything is absolutely OP. And well guys, that is going to be it for me today. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, and if you want more content similar to this, once again, hit that subscribe button. You won't be disappointed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.